So good morning to Rebooting Minds and their team. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity of talking about careers. I cannot say how passionate I am about this topic today in our country, in India. I started some 14 years ago. Little did I know much about the school, but the name of the school was Welham Boys School here in Dehradun. I brought my own children to come and study in India. I've been born and brought up completely for 40 years in England. But Welham Boys did not have a careers counselling department back then in 2007. So I had the honor and the privilege to start this completely new area, and it keeps continually being a new area in our country. And I'll tell you why I say that. So at that time, I had the privilege to start a careers counseling department completely from scratch to a fully fledged department in 10-12 years, when I only had 6 months of 2007, and I managed to get couple of boys to universities in US, and that was the first start of Welham Boys starting to go abroad. But it's not about going abroad or staying in the country. It's about, and you'll keep hearing this from me, and it's all about the right fit. Every fit which is right for you is your journey into careers. So, in my early days, I used to get a lot of parents saying, ma'am, Tao ji ka beta, yahan gaya hai. So, mera beta ko bhi yahan jana hai. So, I'm going to break into my very bad Hindi, so please excuse it. And I used to say, that was his journey. You must concentrate on your son's journey, because your, nephew or cousin had a much higher score than your own child, and that child's not scoring higher score went as far back as class 8 and 9. Would you believe it? Yes? So we're only talking about things starting at classes 8 and 9. And can you think that our brain is not developed till we're about 25, 26, and we're asking these little young things to make a decision at 16, 14, 18, I don't know about you guys, but, in our Indian family scenario, you're stuck there by your mother as a 5-year-old and said, beta, aap kya banoge? By the time you're from 5 to 10 to 15 to 20, you are different people. So I always thought this was a very unfair question. And I used to make sure that, when it was asked to me, my sons had to answer it at class 5, not me. Yeah. So, we're putting a lot of pressure already on these children. We have to take into account their preferences. Of course, the family is very important, I've learned, because it's the family that's going to provide the the care, the guidance, and the monetary value to go further into education. But what I'm trying to say is that if we make the right decision in classes 9 and 10, and there are so many boards that are available now, and if you have to make a choice of subjects in class 9 and some boards in class 10, like our local boards, you have to get it right. Yeah, when I started school, class 11 and 12 was all about jumping. Well, jumping classes, I no longer want to do, now this is a big one, wait for this everyone, mathematics. We need a halo over our head for mathematics. So we all have to be mathematicians in India. I know it all started here and everything. But if you're forced to do maths in classes 11 and 12, and you don't have, the attitude or the aptitude to it, which I'll come back to, attitude and aptitude, then I call that a pressure cooker, top of the range, prestige, pressure cooker syndrome, So because mathematics in class 9 and 11 is, say, that hard, so suddenly it becomes as wide as you can get your arms and further harder in class 11 and 12. Can you imagine when you're just averaging at 45, 50, even 55, and then you choose to do maths, in 11 and 12? It's almost like first and second year degree level mathematics that you're doing in class 11 and 12, equivalent abroad. I know this because one of my sons was doing some maths work back in England, one of our trips, and my brother-in-law kept saying, well, Mina, look at the mathematics they're doing in class 10 and 11. It's almost degree level here. So there's been proof there. So we don't want our children to get stuck in that first semester of class 11, and definitely not in class second semester of class 11. They should be happy in the subjects that they're doing, but they should also be coping with this subject. You must love mathematics. Damn, that score is just not coming. So what are you going to do? Yes, if you're 65, 70, I'm sure with all the hard grit, you'll get there, I'm sure. But you have to give yourself a fair chance. So I don't know about other schools, but I do recommend for schools to give a grace period post class 10 and get the advice of the teacher and everyone else. So that's another one of my topics. Yes, I've already gone through the family, the class 8, class 9, choosing the right subjects at those times. So we're sure in class 11 and 12. So the rest of the career pathway planning is sorted, and when you're happy in doing something, then you'll put your heart to it. And this is where, I call, there's a little bit of what we call the apartheid. If you know the apartheid system in South Africa, or maybe in our country, we could call it, what can we call it? The caste system, where we're all compartmentalized in everything, and like that in schools. As a careers counselor, I think everybody was still learning how to connect. And I think the connection is not there. Too concentrated on classrooms, textbooks, and, activities, that the careers counseling almost becomes like a leper colony, somewhere stuck in some cupboard or under some stair office with teachers and everyone are not encouraging students to use their counselor. I certainly felt it. I'm like, like a bull in a china shop. Force myself on everyone that, hey, I'm here and I'm for your benefit. Not only post class 12, but I'm making a decision or helping facilitate and guide you into a decision with your family and with your feelings and with your compassions, but with the rest of the stakeholders. So we've got the parents, we've got you, we've got your counselor, you have your teachers, you have your heads of departments, you have your own personal teachers. I want to know as a counselor that, hey, are they going to cope with physics, maths, and chemistry? Are they going to be those budding doctors instead of finding the back corridor, way out? Are they truly going to be true to themselves? We have to take the whole team together and learn about this boy or girl and find the right fit for her. It's a very minuscule, very micro process. And if you get it right, we know that child, when they are 30, 35, dealing with the dynamics of a family and, putting the gas on their car and balancing that juggling life, we would get the satisfaction, or he or she would get the satisfaction of like, hey, I made the right decision. Family was dead against it. My counselor said, you go this way, and my marks were coming right this way, and I made the right decision. So, for example, scenarios that I come across is, so I have devised a form, very simple form, nothing psychometric about it, nothing like doing another exam paper and then coming out of a computer, this long list of everything you can be. It's a form that actually brings out the conflicts in that child. So by now, 15, 14 years on, I know that when the student has written humanities stroke commerce, or commerce stroke science, I know that one half of it is what the parents are telling that student. Yes, so then I get into a deeper conversation with the student, and then we get into a deeper conversation with the parents, and we know that we have these boys 4 or 5 months, or girls, in our schools. I've been working in boarding schools, and we know them. They're debaters, they're quizzers, they're spoken, they're very, very connected, and we know that it's humanities that their passion stands. And as soon as science comes in, we know that the pressure has been put, on them really to do that. So we have to also slowly, sort of let the parents realize that, that this is a better decision for your son and your daughter. And if you're going to put him in the wrong stream in class 11 and 12, then he's going to struggle emotionally and, in every way, really. So that's one angle. These are experiences that I've been, finding. And lately it has improved. I'm realizing. So I used to be very careful in choosing when I was very, I wanted a desk with the teachers at parent-teacher meetings. I wanted to do careers fairs when parents were on campus so they could also get educated. I gave them a wide range of universities that visited, from India, from abroad. And, I'd like to tap onto the Indian scenario. So I would have parents saying, ma'am, abroad or India? I don't think I would be a fair counselor if I said one was better than the other. So go back to my mantra and say the right fit. Yes, so there are colleges, as they say, horses for courses, horses for horses, throughout the world. There is a place out there for you. There is a way to get to that place for you. You need to start early. Datelines and timelines need to be, put in line, because there are always deadlines that you have to follow. You have to have your knowledge in time. You have to do the research. I don't spoon feed my students. I guide them. I facilitate them. They have to find, a little bit of research, themselves to find the right fit. And in India, north, east, west, south, there is abundance. There are partnerships being made. There's a whole world of new colleges from the traditional nationalized colleges that they have. They have a lot of opportunities. They have good professors. Abroad is also, an option if your family allows it. The budget is allowing. There are scholarships in the country. There are inclusive universities that want you, sometimes you have a bad day. Suddenly, 2 weeks before your finals, you've got a flare of chickenpox or, a death in the family or something. We have to take those kind of things. Oh, you've been brilliant right through then, and then suddenly, so foreign universities are very good at looking at things like that when your essays are in place. And you've done well, and a supported letter by the school and the family and the counselor that something went wrong, marks are not so phenomenally, as in our country, 99.9. I think these are very unfair mark systems. You've got to go get to know the person. So maybe the foreign universities have a bit of an edge on that. So if you are 75% and you've written a great statement of purpose about you and why you want to get to that university and why you want to do that course and what you want to do after that course, great. They'll have you, and they'll have that 95, 96%er who's got a really dull statement of purpose, nothing sparky about it, nothing bright about it. You won't get in. You might at 75. Shocking, eh? What I want you to know is the right fit. Don't get down. I've got students on less than 50 to the finest culinary, hospitality, entrepreneurial courses, and they've gone ahead and been very successful in their lives. So please, I'll conclude this session, and thank you very much again, is the right fit, okay? To do things at the right time, timelines and deadlines, to be inclusive with all the stakeholders, very open and frank. This is not the time to just bend because, you've been told to do that. And, getting to the place of whatever score you have, and if it's the right fit, you will be successful. Believe me, I've done it. I will continue doing it, because it's each student, you, that matters. The contribution you make in your family, in your community, in your society, and our lovely country as a whole will benefit. So look, at the moment, I'm really appreciating the initiative by the Gurumantra Speak and Win competition about career choices. Up until now, I think that students were not adapt to career choices. This chalta hai, kuch ho jayega, koi baat nahi, family business mein join karenge. But I think that mode has changed. So this Speak and Win competition has come at the right time, where students are really challenged and are challenging themselves and are very excited about career choices. So go out there of the Gurumantra initiative, get into the Speak and Win competition and talk about career choices. And I'm sure they'll follow up with good programs, and we wish you all the best. Thank you very much, Rebooting Minds, for this opportunity.